Hola, brothers
Muy
of the
buenas
leaf.
noches. I don't know this Olaf stuff.
Olaf stuff. I will say the Olaf stuff.
Yeah, you said
Olaf.
Olaf.
Olaf,
Can
brothers
I
and
say
sisters of the
buenas
leaf.
noches? Is it okay for me to say
You
buenas
can
noches?
say whatever you want, bro.
Yeah, that's nice.
All you gotta do is you just we gotta go in this order. I got it written down here.
Oh, my bad. My bad. Go ahead.
You, all right,
Yeah.
cool. We gotta start all over again.
Okay, from the beginning, everybody.
From the beginning, everybody. Here we go. Duncan screwed it up, so we got to start all over. I'm just kidding. What's going on, Kevin Shahan? Thanks for joining us from Cigar Props. Hola, brothers and sisters of the leaf, and welcome to the Stogie Road Diaries. I am Care, and this is my good friend Duncan Ramon Echevarria.
Jesus, what are you like calling goats in or something like that? What the heck is that sound?
That joke was bad.
Yeah.
What's up, Big D? Daryl Iverson. We got Barry hopped on. We got Kevin Shahan, Daryl.
I'm gonna say it, Kevin, man. I gotta hug you when I see you, man. I love you. Thank you, Kevin. You're awesome.
So we are awaiting the arrival of Lars. My man Lars is going to be on. He messaged me. He's running a little bit late, which is cool. But tonight, actually, I'm really excited to have you two on because I've worked with you a bazillion times, and we've done all these shows, and you're a fountain of something.
Useless.
Information. Lars is fantastic, and I'll tell you what, just a genuinely nice guy, very knowledgeable, and I just having him and you on this particular episode talking about the tobacco is because we're doing this the Stogie Road Diaries, and going through the whole process of the cigar. Last week we did the construction, the importance of construction, and we talked about barber poles, and then we went everywhere else. Right? Because that's what always happens when we do this show. We start off with barber poles and we go everywhere else. But it's all relative and it's all important. So what was really cool about the construction part of it is, I mean, we hit everything under the sun. What's going on, Brian? Good to see you. So now tonight we're going to talk about tobacco. We're going to talk about all things tobacco. And I'm not going to get into it until Lars hops on. But, and then next week, we're going to talk about the marketing. We're going to talk about the cigar bands, the artwork. Because, Duncan, when you and I start doing this, and one of the things that I talked to you about is I love everything about the cigar industry. Everything from the cigar, which I am smoking an Edition 35. Everything from the cigar to the...
Cio Brasilia.
I was going to Cio Brasilia. That's a great cigar.
It's okay.
It's okay. Well, you know.
Could be better. It's not an Edición 35. It's not.
Excuse me?
It's not an Edición 35.
Well, it is not, but that's a damn good cigar.
So I got to do the Spanish spin on
And
it.
thank you. I appreciate the Edición 35 is... See, there's a reason why.
Thank God for Bailey's Irish Cream. That's all I can say. Thank God.
Why? You feeling better? See, you know what? Here's the reason why. Jennifer got this for me for Christmas a while back.
Rosetta Stone. What the heck is that? Rosetta Stone.
It was to help me speak Spanish, to learn
Yeah,
Spanish.
awesome. How much has it helped?
Mucho.
Mucho.
Terrifico.
Mucho nada. Mucho nada. You stupid, man.
Listen, bro.
Oh, man.
But anyway, and next week I'm going to talk about the artwork. I want to talk about the bands, the boxes, all the different types of packaging, from individual coffins to the butcher paper, and then what I'm going to do is, oh boy, I'm going to bring it all together, and we're going to have on some cigar reviewers, and we're going to talk about all those components and about what they do to cigars. So,
It's sexy.
my man,
Hey, baby, how are you?
what's up, brother?
Hey, wait a second. I'm the jealous type. What is this baby stuff? What's going on? I'm the jealous type.
Oh, let me get my hat. I forgot my hat. Hang on 1 second.
Good God Almighty! I'm telling you.
He looked good with the hat off. It looked. I thought, there you go. There it is.
It's my
Man,
first time interacting with
There
Lars.
we go.
It's my
is this
first,
your first time? Well, let me
first
let
time
me do
interacting
some
with Lars.
let me do some introductions here.
and he jumps
First
in
of
and calls
all,
you baby. What is that?
man, it is that we're that tight,
It's all love
man.
here. It's all love.
Oh, nothing but. But first of all, I want to welcome Lars to the show. Such an honor again to have you on the show to talk to you about this, because this is a part of the series that your experience and your knowledge and work, and also with Duncan. I think we're gonna have a great show. But Lars, I want to introduce you to Duncan, my good friend Duncan Ramon Echevarria.
Lars, un gran placer. It is a great pleasure, man. I'm definitely at your service, my brother.
It's very nice to meet you.
Duncan, I've done,
Nothing but insanely awesome stuff about you, and I look forward to learning more.
All right. Well, so I'm going to smoke one of your
Go ahead.
cigars, sir. You tell me which one you think I should smoke.
All
I
right.
did that when I was at Cigars International. I did the Gringo, Sweetgrass Gringo.
Yeah, I saw
Stogie
that.
Road Edition. Do you think I should do that one? Or
Yes, sir.
there's a Stogie Road Edition 35.
The edition on 35. That's what I'm smoking right now too.
Oh, nice.
A new cigar
Beautiful.
band.
Oh, snap. I love that cigar band.
Thank you, sir. So, Lars, I've known Duncan a long, long time. He's actually, when I started smoking cigars or getting back into smoking cigars, Duncan really helped me out a great deal. He's one of the best tobacconists I've ever met. He took me under his wing. He showed me around the humidor and introduced me to so many fantastic brands and blends, boutiques. So Duncan and I started doing our show, this show on Thursday night, about 5 years ago. So
Fat chubby wings. Fat chubby wings. I love my fat chubby wings.
5 years ago, we were a little bit thinner, a little bit better looking too.
We're gonna go with that one, Kurt. We're gonna go with
Oh,
that.
let me just grab an ashtray. I'm so sorry.
Well, so yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool. Duncan, I had told the story before, but back when I was in the 90s, when I was working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, I used to go
What
to
is
this
this beautiful West Mucky ashtray?
Yeah, that's nice.
very cool. I used to go to the
Sorry, I
cigar
forgot
shop.
I put in my earpiece.
I used to go to the cigar shop in Harrisburg, and I used to get punches and some of these other ones. And I remember looking at this box and saying, "Man, that box just stands out and pops." And it was Lars, one of his cigars. So that was actually back then. I actually smoked his cigars, and very surreal that how many years later I got a chance to actually meet him and become friends with him, which is awesome and cool.
Yeah, it really is cool.
What was this in the 90s? You said?
Yeah, it was, God, I was in Enterprise Rent-A-Car probably 1997, 98, around that time.
Daryl, to answer your question, it came out amazing. There was even some really good meatloaf sandwiches for a day after. So thank you for asking, Daryl.
They did. Daryl's suggestion is that every show you have to have some sort of meat in the oven that you have to run off and check.
Lars, last week, my partner was out. He was taking care of his salon, and I said, I'm gonna cook for the two of us. So he left a meatloaf ready to go in, but I must have ran like 3-4 times back and forth because I was terrified of burning that damn thing. But it came out good. The meatloaf came out good. We did potatoes and all kinds of stuff. It was
I
delicious.
fucking love meatloaf.
Dude, I'm a dieharder.
I had it today. Jennifer
Give me
made it last
comfort
night.
food. I love good comfort food. I love it.
Yeah, Jennifer made meatloaf last night in a cast iron skillet.
My ex-wife used to love for me to make like a turkey meatloaf, and then when we were vegetarian, I'd make like a vegetarian meatloaf. It was all good.
Wow.
Oh, good stuff. Hey, what's up, Michael Carter? How you doing? Look, there's Quincy laughing his ass off right there.
Yeah, Kevin's only question was who puts a meatloaf in the oven before they co-host a show.
Dude, I mean, I was trying to gauge it. I don't know. I'm more of a stovetop cooker, not an oven cooker. I don't know.
So last week, Lars, we talked about the construction of this cigar and the importance of the construction of a cigar. We talked about barber poles, and we went off in many different avenues and the different pitfalls. And tonight, I really wanted to dive in deeper into the tobaccos that are utilized for the wrapper, the binder, the filler, the aging, flavored. So one of the things I did do is I got some
Okay.
Brazilian Viso. Come on, Duncan. This is where your Spanish comes in.
Man, it's in English right there. You can't read that crap. It says Brazilian Cubrabizo. And by the way, my Portuguese is non-existent. So.
Dominican Seco, and then a big shout out to Lars and my family, where we're all from. Some Pennsylvania binder.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Penn Woods. Penn's Big Woods.
Ooh, nice. Hey, how's my volume coming in?
Your volume's great.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we can hear you just
You're
fine.
good. You're solid.
So Lars, when I know you have a great deal of history and experience with tobaccos and your brand. When it comes to selecting the tobacco, like what is your thought process and the importance of the different tobaccos and the aging of that tobacco in order to create your blends?
Okay, so when I originally started a long time ago, 40 years, well, probably a little more than 40 years ago, I was really thinking about the no matter where you get it, like you can't guarantee just because you're coming from a certain field or a certain country that you're going to have the best tobacco or the right tobacco for that cigar the next year. So it really was about finding the places that would keep the integrity of the cigar, of what I meant for that flavor profile to be. And for that, I had to kind of search around and buy from all over the place.
Right.
It wasn't such a science as it is today. And,
Gotcha.
it was a different kind of thing. And there was a lot of small farms I was buying from, and a lot of also aged tobacco that was already pre-aged.
Okay.
And then when I rolled the cigars, sometimes I'd let the cigars sit for anywhere from 6 to 8 years, and then sometimes 20 to 25 years. I still have cigars from when I first started rolling when I was 15, and that's I'm 56 now, so that's like 41 years ago.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I was looking at you, and when you said 40 years ago, I said, well, what the hell are you, like 49 or some crap like that? Jesus, man. You look good, bro.
Thank you. I'm 56. I'm going to be 57 in March.
Nice, man. Well, you know, hey, you do it well. Apparently, a good cigar living is what it's all about.
Yeah.
So,
and I do
now-
I do martial arts every single day, 4 hours a day.
Nice. What are you into?
I'm pretty much into everything. I'm actually training a boxer right now. I'm about to sign a second boxer that I'm training to go pro.
It's all so mixed martial arts, UFC stuff.
Everything. I lived with Shingyo Hashimoto, who's the last royal samurai family in the world, the One family, and it was Big Master One's son, and I was the senior student in the school, so we did kenjutsu. I've trained in jiu-jitsu. I helped train the Olympic judo team a long time ago.
Oh man, you had me at jutsu. Anything. I mean, I did Okinawan Goju-Ryu since I was 8 years old till like I was about 20. Competed very little, but because we were a small school, it was more like family, Christian friendly. But I enjoyed the heck out of it. I like the traditional forms. Again, a lot of people don't understand what Goju-Ryu is. And I always tell them, listen, if you ever saw the Karate Kid, that's the base foundation discipline that was utilized for that original movies with Pat Morita. But I love it, man. My deepest respects to you, brother. Honestly, that is awesome.
Well, it's kept me staying, I think, healthy.
It is awesome, man. It is awesome.
And being around a lot of farm animals. I think I told you about that last time, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, because look, coronavirus comes from cows and pigs and chickens and that kind of stuff. If you're around the farms all the time, and like I make goat cheese brie, and I'm in the Amish farms all the time, and I'm around the animals all the time. So, you get those kind of coronaviruses all the time, and I think that's. Oh, look, that's nice.
I'm working. Actually, this is it's a project I'm working on. It's an Amish farm here in the Salisbury area, North Carolina. They do goat milk soaps, and they do all kinds of like nice aromatic oils and whatnot. So I'm working with them. They've never gone outside of their comfort factor. So it was through a family member that has a good connect, and I said, man, it'd be nice, because I have my beard, and they do a lot of these soaps which are body and beard friendly.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, I'm digging. Carrie, why are you laughing back there? Sidetrack completely.
Because I was going to ask you a question about tobacco, and I'm like, we're at soaps now.
Well,
I love it.
It started with samurais, and now we're at soaps.
Lars, this is how our shows go all the time.
Hey, I love that.
I laugh at it because we've like I said, we started 5 years ago, and there's a couple of years that Duncan was up and he was working up North Carolina, so we didn't get through the show. So we're doing back again. It's like right back in the saddle. We started talking about aged tobacco. We 5 minutes later we're on soap.
Yeah,
and Daryl loves it.
So being around that, I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't been sick, and I really was thinking back on it. Really, it's got to be over 10 years, maybe even close to 12.
That's awesome, man. All right, Carrie, back to you, Carrie. Enough, Lars and I.
No, man. I listen. As you know, I'm easygoing, so that's why I had to laugh. Because I was going to tell you that with your soap, I have this loofah I'll use.
Yeah, I got a loofah for you. I got a loofah for you.
Before the show started, Duncan goes, I got 2 more bars of soap. Which one do you want? I'm like, I'm your best friend. Send me both. What do you mean, which bar of soap do I want?
Yes.
A bar of soap? I'm a regular shower man. I need more than one. But no, and Duncan, I mean, I know you could talk about your family history in the tobacco industry and the business and your wealth of knowledge when it comes to the tobaccos. I know your mother still is working at it's the only tobacco or
in North Carolina.
In North Carolina,
they are the only cigar factory, a licensed cigar factory, literally on the wall. Lars, when you walk in, when they have to apply for the licensing and whatnot to manufacture, to produce, it has 5 zeros and a number 1 on it. So they
wow.
have been, I mean, and it's funny because to produce hand rolled, cigars, the traditional way, it's a Honduran family, Girones. They originally had worked years ago with Padron before they switched over and went to Nicaragua. They also worked with the Padron family in Miami as well. But long story short, my mom had the opportunity to work with them for about 7 years in quality control, tobacco selection, then blending and rolling side by side with Carlos. It's a very small, itty bitty, tiny little factory. It's all family. Like you could walk in and you see it all in one shot. But it was a great opportunity for her to touch base again to what she had done. She had worked originally for Ramon Cifuentes, which was the name of the Partagas owners. A lot of people, nowadays only hear Partagas, but they don't understand that Partagas was the name of the factory and the name of the brand. It was not the name of the family that owned a lot in Cuba. And my grandma, rest her soul, started when she was 16 years old in 1915, working there. And then my mom, years later, would get her training there, and she did not do that for years. So when we moved to North Carolina, we knew the Girones, and again, my mom was good friends with his mom, so it just said, you know what, Ma, you're looking for she was elderly. She did not want to be at home. She wanted to do something that was worthwhile, and she loved it. So I said, do your thing. I hooked up with them, but on my dad's side, just to flip the coin real quick, I'm sure you know the Toraños, the Toraño family. So Ana Maria Toraño, the great-grandmother, I think, the great-great-grandmother of Charlie and Jack, she was the patriarch. She was one of the original Toraño family people that owned enormous tracts of lands in Vuelta Abajo, in Baez, in that little Pinar del Rio region where all that good tobacco comes from. So it's funny because Toraños were never considered by us Cubans like cigar makers. They were just farmers. They were farmers of great tobacco. So my dad's family had worked for the Toraños for years, man, like going all the way back to the turn of the century and stuff like that. So we are like like Cuban rednecks, man. We're like farmers. On my dad's side, that's all we ever did. And a little segue story: my dad knew Pepín Garcia when he was just a young man from Vuelta Abajo. I mean, he knew the Garcia family and stuff. And he knew him when he was just a young teenager, and stuff before he would become, Habanos SA, big man and stuff. But then, the big, guy's name that he is right now. But when my dad passed away, the Garcia family, they all came to pay their respects down in Miami. We all lived not far from each other, so I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And Pepín Garcia literally, I've always said this, reminded me how to cut and light a cigar. He said to me in front of everybody, he said, "You know what? Don't be a jackass. Look, remember who your father was. Your dad would cut his cigar with whatever he had at hand. He would light it with whatever he had at hand." He goes, we come from a poor country. A guy with a Bic lighter in Cuba is the king, so.
They fill the Bic lighters up that are throwaways.
Yeah, man. He literally said, don't be a dick. He's like,
Look at that. Look at that cut, dude. That's with my teeth.
Yeah, that's exactly. Dude, you know what he did in front of me one day? He literally, like with his teeth, the Le Bijou, before it was even like a number one or anything, and he took out a damn Bic lighter. He's like, and I'm like, what? And he goes, "What are you talking about? What the hell's wrong with you?" He goes, "Your father would light a cigar on a burning body on the middle of the street. He didn't give a rat's ass." But I mean,
it'll give it a little smoked bacon flavor.
I was going to say, that's quite the visual.
Yeah,
that's the way to end the story, Duncan.
Well, I mean, my family. I would say my family was never like any famous people, or we were not like anybody. No, we were like we were simple workers. We were like the people who worked in factories, and we were the people who worked the land. I mean, we never had a big name or anything like that. But I've been doing this for 20 years. I love it. I've had the pleasure of learning to blend, to roll, to interact within that realm. I've been to Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominican Republic. I love this industry because it's really the only thing I know that has shown my family love, and that my family has loved always. So to me, I'm honored. The moment you said 40 years, man, I was like, I wish I have 40 years in it. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I was trained. I was trained really well. Old school Cubans and old school Cuban and Dominican people that were like really master cigar makers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
wow.
I'm a big fan of that. To me, I love young people who are doing it, but I'd rather sit with some 60, 70-year-old timer that, let me tell you, man, when you sit with them, you see history, love, understanding, and even compassion. You got to be compassionate, not just passionate, but compassionate to the tobacco. Because when you do that, let me tell you, you're going to create some amazing cigars.
Like that lady we saw at Miami Beach. Duncan, we went down to Miami, and Duncan and I were walking down Miami Beach. We walked into a cigar shop, and they had all their brands and all in the humidor. And there's a little old lady out front, the little desk, rolling cigars. And we actually took her cigars and smoked her cigars, and they were fantastic.
Listen, of all things, Lars, you're gonna love this. It was a Davidoff appointed lounge on Lincoln Road in South Beach, and beautiful place, absolutely fantastic. But everything they had in there, in my opinion, paled in comparison to that little old lady. I said, I want to hug you. I want to smoke whatever the hell you're making, because that's what love is right there. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, she was that was a fantastic cigar. So we did have a question about tobacco. From Tommy. And Tommy, he wants to know, does the wrapper, binder, and filler all come from the same plant? Lars.
For me or for you guys?
No, I'm asking you, Lars. He's asking a question to the panelists. Listen, you guys are the experts. I'm just here to navigate.
My current supply that I'm making right now, yes. Mostly, yes. But, I've always, throughout my whole life doing cigars, I've always got tobacco from all over the world. from South America, from Africa, from all over the place. From here in Pennsylvania, I was doing Pennsylvania broadleaf. I was looking back at it just recently. I thought it was like 20 years, but I forget how old I am. It's over 20 years. It's probably closer to 30 years now. I've been using Pennsylvania broadleaf.
Really?
Yeah.
I try to forget how old I am, man. I try.
It's tough some days when you wake up in the morning. It's even tougher to if you remember how old you are when everything's snapping and popping.
I got to get up at 2 in the morning every morning so I can get my 4-hour workout in before I start training my boxers in the morning.
Damn.
Yeah.
Man, well,
listen, if I was wearing a hat, my head would be off to you right now.
And I work out with my boxers.
If I'm up at 2 in the morning, it's go to the bathroom, Lars.
I'm up at 2 in the mornings because I haven't gone to bed yet.
Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you, what is the difference when it comes to the wrapper, the binder, and the filler? And I know that I think there is a just looking at the cigar community that there is a difference in quality when it comes to wrapper, binder, filler. Do you feel that's the case?
Okay, so a lot of times, I'll just tell you from my personal experience, from what I do. Most of the time, when I very first started, I like to use wrapper grade quality binders, and a lot of times I'd use double wrappers. I just thought it would give more flavor, and I like to mix it up. I don't know. I like
what you just said.
No, it makes sense.
Screwing around with shit and just trying to try stuff out and mix it up and make something good.
Well, but Lars, correct me if I'm wrong. There's some fantastic wrapper out there that at a reasonable price, you have the luxury of saying, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and incorporate this as my binder to accentuate flavor profiling as well. I mean, a lot of times I'm a retailer also, I'm a tobacconist. A lot of times my customers assume, because they're knowledgeable to an extent, but say, well, wrapper is just that. It's just wrapper. And I go, well, it all depends upon the manufacturing side of things and what the brand owner is doing. I mean, he may have something that, as you said, was a great deal, fantastic flavors, and he might want to do something a little bit different. I say toss things up around a little bit, make it unique.
So I'll tell you what I'd like to go ahead and say. Well, wait a minute. Where does most of the flavor come from? Okay, so I'm going to address that right now, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, please.
So I always like to go ahead and have a lot of flavor throughout the whole stick. So back in the old days, nowadays you buy Maduro wrapper, half the time it's baked or spray painted.
Yeah.
Not a fan at all either here too. So I like to see the little blemishes in the wrapper. I like to see the little green spots so you can know that it was naturally natural Maduro, not a baked Maduro or not a spray painted Maduro.
Do you know what in Spanish betún is?
No.
Okay, so I know that betún in English it's that liquid, if you will, that is sometimes utilized in that quote unquote maturing process, right? Well, for us in Spanish, betún is literally shoe polish. That's literally what it translates to in Spanish. So when I first heard that terminology utilized in tobacco, in cigars, I said, "You're out of your fucking mind. Who the hell is using shoe polish?" But
oh my God!
No. I'm with you.
They do. They do.
I
it's
know.
crazy.
I know. I'm with you. I know. I can't stand that crap. That to me is a shortcut. That means you are screwing up the people. I can't stand. I've literally had a cigar in my hand that when you did this, you're like, what the crap? There's stuff on my hands. It's insane.
And when I taste those Maduro, I can't even smoke those Maduro cigars. It just makes me nuts because all I taste is spray paint.
Yeah.
So, the thing is that you really want that, and especially back in the old days, I was able to get great true Maduro. So a Maduro right now that I would have called a Maduro back then could be the color of a natural wrapper, but it was still a Maduro. It was still seriously aged as a Maduro, and you could taste that chocolatey sweetness in it. Right, exact. Thank you.
You see
Happy
that right
birthday.
there?
Thank you.
This is a natural dark
Right.
Ecuadorian wrapper. Hasn't been touched. This, and we all see the brand, what it is. I can tell a vast difference. And again, not to downplay this one, God bless them. But this cigar for many years, a lot of my customers say, I don't want to smoke that. That's strong. And I go, no, it's not. There's nothing strong about this cigar at all. I mean, I have smoked full-bodied ligeros and full-bodied, well-aged, strong tobacco that doesn't even look like this. It looks more like this.
I know.
I'm like, and people are like, what?
What's up, Chief?
Listen, I like smoking real wrapper, so that it's
really
real aged wrapper. I don't mind it being lighter color as long as it's real. The dark wrapper,
right?
I don't see any adult beverages. Yeah, that's true. I'm drinking. This is one of my favorite seltzers. I don't know if anyone wants to check that out.
Polar. I do like good seltzer water.
It's an orange vanilla. It is so good.
Nice. I'm actually drinking a little bit of this new beer, this Lefty Lucy that Jennifer got me. Lefty Lucy. It's a good beer. It's interesting you say that, Lars. But I know you were on a thought. You were talking about the wrapper and the coloration, and now it's different than it was before. Just because, like you said, it's you're getting stuff that's either baked or painted or whatever the case may be. And one of the things that I've noticed when it comes to a cigar, and I want to touch on this, but I want to get back to that original question is, and the best way I can describe it is when I smoke it, it smells like kerosene, and it burns really bad, like it smokes.
Dude, I can't stand that crap. I can't.
And I'm sitting there wondering, what was this tobacco like? What was used on this tobacco? Because the last time I checked, I don't think any tobacco ever smelled like kerosene. In my opinion, I mean that's just my sense.
I'm with you, brother.
You know what I'm saying?
When I'm smoking something that tastes like kerosene, I'm literally thinking it's gonna explode. It's like a toy, like a plain tobacco.
I was told that smell that you get in that flavor is from the utilization of mineral oil on tobacco. I don't know how true that is, but going back to the original question, Lars, was where do you get the flavor in a cigar? Because we talked about the construction before last week. Now it's about wrapper, binder, filler. Where do you really get the flavor from? Because I think that's been an argument forever and a day.
Yeah, I think that you get some very subtle flavors from the wrapper, but really, I mean, look, the filler really is the meat of the cigar, and if you can have a nice full spectrum of flavor by putting different wrappers together when you're doing a cigar with a binder, a wrapper grade binder, and then a couple wrappers, which I like to use a couple wrappers. But really, it's your filler that's giving you. I mean, look, Ligero, I was using that shit back in almost 42 years ago.
I remember you telling about the story about the story of Ligero.
Yeah, because I used to get it free. Everybody was throwing it away or burning it or using it as compost. So I would go around and grab up all the Ligero I could all over the place, and I got it free. They gave it to me. So it was easy for me to go ahead and just to make blends with, and I experimented. I liked it because it had a lot of flavor to it. And I always used tobacco that people didn't like back when I started because I wanted a lot of flavor in it. And at that time when I started up, most people were making cigars that taste like newspaper. It was just rolled up, non-flavor cigar. It had no body to it.
Right.
You may as well have smoked a newspaper.
I think that, and guys definitely correct me, the search for flavors, strength, and nuances is a lot newer than people think it is. I mean, because when you look at historically, as you said, 30, 40, even half a decade ago, the American smoker, which is right now the biggest consumer out there of cigars,
sure,
is not smoking anywhere near the strength level that they're at right now or the flavor profiles that they're smoking right now. They were not. It was all about, I smoke mild. I smoke, at most a little medium. And I see that as a retailer when the grandpas come in or the dads come in, with their kids. Oh, I remember when I was smoking this, and they're mentioning to me names of cigars that I know classically, by my standards, were paper. I mean, literally, were very
Yeah.
uber mild. When they went looking for flavors or stronger cigars or better quality cigars, that's when I hate to say it like this because I don't really mean that, but they were looking at, but a good strong Habano, a good strong Cuban. I'm like, by Cuban standards, I don't think that they produce strong cigars.
No, they didn't. They really didn't.
They did not. I mean, the major buyer at the time of Cubans, 40, 50, 60 years ago was Europe, not the U.S. And European flavor profiles at the time were like it was almost like, very effete, very dainty. They were not smoking anything strong. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's in the past, I'd say 20 to 30 years that this search for strength and flavor has been on the rise massively.
I would say it was probably even less than 20 years ago, because even 20 years ago,
I'm being generous.
Even in 2000, I know you are, and you're being very nice.
I'm trying to build up something here, man. I don't want to be shot.
Matt's not a strong point.
In 2000, we're like still smoking. The majority is all milds. Yeah. And even now, the majority of cigars sold are mild cigars.
And how sad is that we had just come through the big boom of the 90s. It's funny. We had just gone through this massive, epic boom of cigars, literally exploding everywhere. And then into the 2000s, all of a sudden, everybody's like, no, I don't smoke too strong. No, I smoke mild. I'm like, well, what the hell happened for the past decade? So it's funny. You're right.
But I think that's where the kind of idea that the wrapper leaf was such a strong part of the flavor profile, because everything else was just like, you're using like 15 Seco, which has no flavor, and then you're going ahead and putting a wrapper leaf on it, and the wrapper leaf is really the majority of, if you could get that sweetness in the flavor of the wrapper leaf, that was where your flavor came from. But once you started using stronger tobacco in the cigars, you were able to mix it up with some more of the mild, and then you can go ahead and have a complexity of flavor and build that base of strength up. But most people still, even up into 2000, and listen, I'm not going to go ahead and put down anybody who smokes mild cigars. I myself will smoke mild cigars sometimes too.
I'm with you. It's a great way to reset your palate, Yeah.
But I still, even with a mild cigar, I still like to have a complexity of flavor to it.
Right.
Not just something that tastes like a newspaper.
Right.
So, I mean, that's where.
One of the cigars that I smoked, Lars and Duncan, you can attest to this, that I would consider a mild cigar. And I think most would consider a mild cigar, but is one of the most complex cigars I've ever smoked is a Paul Gamarian, some of his gourmet series. I mean,
I love that crazy old man.
He is very big into the aging process, and like you said, Lars, you let the tobacco age, and then you roll a cigar, and then you let it sit for 10 years, and then you sell it. And I smoked a Lancero that was part of, I think, his Gourmet Series 1, that was rolled in 1991, and this was a couple of years ago. Very mild cigar, but that had more flavor that was natural, poppy flavor, than most of the bigger cigars that have the dark, tobacco and people, I'm picking up, flavors of coffee and leather and stuff. This cigar, I told Duncan, I said, two of my favorite flavors in a cigar is
white pepper and black pepper.
No, I do like white pepper there, you smart ass. No, is aged tobacco. That flavor of aged tobacco and that cedar that's in with that. Those two flavors are fantastic.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Those are my favorites, man.
I mean, I'm gonna circle back, because Lars, I really wanna go back to what you said, and I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to sizes. By that, I always tell everybody, I don't smoke big ring gauges. I don't enjoy smoking anything remotely beyond a 52, which is one of the classic bigger Cuban sizes. And when I look at where am I going to find a lot of flavor, and again, this is where I think we're just slight deviance. Give me a Corona, give me a Pastena, a Lonsdale, a Lancero Classic, because there is a greater amount of that wrapper ratio against fillers and binders. So if that wrapper truly is a sensational, flavorful wrapper, then I want to see that take center stage against what's inside. And what's inside to me is almost a backup orchestra to that beautiful singer. That's sort of when I smoke a smaller petite size. That's really where I'm looking to find my flavor differences and my flavor strengths, almost from the outside, and then just really well balanced from the inside.
I love that you mentioned that, but now I want to go ahead, if you don't mind, I want to go ahead and talk about, like, it relates to that topic. But it's something that bothered me always. I mean, like last, I don't know, 30 years. Every time I see a movie done like that was supposed to be a timepiece that's 30 years ago to 150 years ago to 200 years ago,
Yeah.
was everybody's smoking these big 52s or 50s ring gauge. And then if you look at like Gone with the Wind,
Yeah.
Gone with the Wind, there was tons of cigar smoking. There was no cigar over like a 42 in that
No,
movie.
not at all.
Nobody smoked that.
Yeah.
Nobody had 50 ring gauges back then.
I think there's the
48
movie.
was like really the biggest ring gauge that anybody had then, and most people wouldn't even smoke that. It was 42s to 46 were your big ring gauge.
Yeah, the movie Open Range with Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall. They went into the store, and the guy was like, "We got chocolate, all the way from Switzerland." He goes, "And we got cigars all the way from Havana, Cuba." And he pulls it out, and it's probably about a 46 ring gauge. It's a smaller ring gauge, and they were 50 cents a piece, which I was like, damn, that would have been nice in the Wild West.
That was expensive even back then.
I know, yeah.
Because when I came into the business, the cigar factory that I was rolling in when I was 15, the most expensive cigar they sold was $1.50. Until I started rolling, because then they sold my cigars, which were $10 a piece.
What was the name of your cigar company? I love that story.
Let me tell it. It's hilarious. Duncan will love this. So they sold, it was like 50 cents to $1.50, the cigars. That was the most expensive, $1.50. My cigars, they would put up in a little like glass little on their counter humidor, clear see-through countertop thing. Mm-hmm. They put another countertop, little tiny one, and they had my cigars in that, and a cardboard sign on it written in a magic marker saying "White Boy Cigars," because none of them knew my name. They just called me White Boy. And when they would ask, "Why are these so expensive?" they would point to me, because the other guys were rolling in the back and they had me up in the front, because it was just funny to see a white boy rolling cigars.
I love it.
So they go, "Oh, it's a White Boy cigar." It's like, "Oh, look at the monkey. He's like doing a little dance for you right there."
I got a funny anecdote. I have a young man who I mean, to me, he's like a son. I love him dearly. He's one of my stalwart supporters. His name is Thomas. And Thomas, he's a truck driver. He's a good kid. But Thomas, if you ask him what size cigar does he enjoy, he says, "I'll take an 880 any day of the week." I have seen this animal, literally, Lars, he smokes this damn thing in the span of 1 hour. He'll smoke it. I go, "Thomas, are you eating the thing, making love to it, or smoking it?" Because
at that size, making love to it seems to be reasonably.
But it's funny. He does like the big ring. And I said, you realize all you're smoking there is just an enormous quantity of tobacco that they have just said, let's just throw it in there. Let's see if we can make some phallic symbol looking cigar and sell it, And I told them, it never, generally speaking, is the highest graded tobacco. It really isn't. It's just hilarious.
My ex-girlfriend, she loved having the, dab it off, just $3 in the mid-'80s, yeah.
Exactly, Kev.
So that's true. My ex-girlfriend, she loved big, thick cigars and long. She was running my company. She was one of my partners that ran my company too. So, but she would smoke a 9-inch by 80 cigar, and she smoked at least one or two of those every day. And most of my girlfriends, they get up. My ex-wife, they get up in the morning. They'd have a huge cigar for breakfast. 8 by 8x50 usually,
See,
8x48.
that's similar to what they call the Soberano or a Presidente size.
Yeah,
Sort of, because I do enjoy a long smoke. So I'll smoke a Churchill almost daily. I love that, but a classic Churchill, not
But
a
that
weird.
ring gauge is big, though, bro.
Well, I mean,
yeah. I like the long stills. Those are good. But
I love that.
yeah, but my favorite smoke. Sometimes I like the longer ones. Sometimes I like Petit Coronas, which that's probably my favorite cigars, a Petit Corona. But regular Corona, Petit Corona. But if I want something that's going to be long, like if I'm painting or something and I want to smoke while I'm painting, I'll do an 8x42. That's my
Yeah.
favorite little size.
What's the
I-
problem?
I'm
That's a
nine
great
by
ring
42.
gauge.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a dieharder on any good Lanceros.
Yeah.
Even a little bit of a longer Lancero to me, I'm not opposed to that, as long as it's well crafted. For my preference, as you said, a day cigar, like something that I can sit for a couple hours, or a lot of guys know me, I look as if I smoke a lot, but normally I'll smoke one cigar for 3, 4, 5 hours because I deal with customers, put it back. So I'll pick, La Gloria Cubana does a Soberano, which is it's a Presidente size. That's all it is. It's an 8x50, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a very enjoyable smoke for me for the day. It's not my quality preference cigar, but it's almost like the no-brainer cigar. I don't have to think about it. I like what I like about it, and it's more for the smoking time of it all. At home, I'm a Robusto smoker, but a little bit of a maybe a slimmer Robusto. I do more of a straight 5x48, more like a number 1 or number 2 classic Cubans, which are just a hair smaller than the 50. I do enjoy that. I'm a dieharder when it comes to the Panetelas, Lanceros, and Churchills. I'm in there. Those 3. I think that they're just beautifully classic. They're timeless. They're forever.
I'm a Lancero fan, too.
They're gentlemanly cigars, as far as I'm concerned. Very nice, gentlemanly cigars. And it's funny, guys will look at you smoking. They're like, "Oh, that cigar is too small. I can't smoke that." I'm like,
You got to take your time with a Lancero. That's what's nice is you take your time with it. You get a lot of great flavor from it, and I'm a big fan of that ring gauge as well.
Yeah, me too.
It's classic. It's classic. Yeah. So Lars, what in with your experience, the 40 years, because you started at 5, we're gonna we'll dial your age down a little bit.
No, it's okay. 15.
15.
I'm an old man. I don't care.
With I know that we had talked before, and you had mentioned with the Ligero, which is a great story. I mean, because everybody's talking about it now, and you were working with it a long time ago. What has been in your with throughout the years? What has been your experience with when you get your tobacco, is the aging of tobacco and the impact it has on the flavor of cigars? Because some of the things that we talked about earlier was trying to either change the flavor or maybe speed up the process of aging. What has been your experience with getting tobacco and the aging of that tobacco and your favorite tobacco to work with?
Substitution in aging.
No, there isn't, right?
No, there really isn't. And if you're rolling a cigar, look, I have cigars that I did with Ligero back almost 42 years ago, and they're still strong.
Oh, wow.
I have something that I want to hit you with this. Carrie and I came across, interestingly enough, when we did a trip to Miami, a couple of cigars, or one in particular that had been produced in mass. I think, Carrie, once I tell the story, you're going to know exactly. And they had been let go. In other words, whoever had invested the money in it didn't have the rest of the money to.
Oh yeah, that was
the process. So I believe
was that Chuck Norris.
Huh?
No.
So they were honest. They said that they felt that the cigar had peaked. In other words, I believe that there is also something that
you're on a downside of the flavor profile.
Yeah, that can happen to the tobacco if you don't age accordingly. If you're an idiot and you're not maintaining in a good environment, if you're not caring for that cigar properly, if you just have it stockpiled somewhere, that tobacco may not do the best it can, and at some point it'll just, this is all I can give you, and from here on out I'm gonna just be tobacco. I mean, nothing more, nothing less. And we smoked some cigars and we're like, wow, it's not bad. I can only imagine when this was great.
I think the tough part about that one, Duncan, was it was really hard to tell whether the cigar was just whether that was the flavor profile of the cigar in general. Kind of like it was like when you get a watered down drink, right?
Yeah.
Because this cigar tasted like the flavors were watered down, like it was on the downslope of that. What causes a cigar if you roll this cigar and you use the tobaccos and then you age it? Is there a peak and a downside to the flavor profile of that cigar? And if so, what causes that to occur?
I'll let you first, Duncan, but I'll answer that too.
See,
I have some real aged cigars
from the retail side. I have come across cigars that, in my opinion, they just were somehow the aging or the post cigar rolling somehow wasn't handled properly. I think that maybe they had a good product, and then it sat. It was in a subpar environment, and then when it went to basically to retail aspect, they were putting something out there that truly had at one point maybe come to the high point, and then it just never went anywhere. So they were just selling me a cigar that was when it could have been something that had been well maintained, well aged, cared for. I mean, I'm not telling anybody to go out there, flip every cigar 180 degrees. But if you're not aware of what's going into your aging environment, what temperature, what humidity, what kind of care, that tobacco, in my opinion, will peak, and then somehow it'll lose some of its better qualities.
So I'll just tell you from personal experience. I'm not a scientist, so I'm too stupid to.
But do you play one on TV?
But the stuff that I made almost 42 years ago, it still is awesome. I should have sent you some of my vintage stuff, Kerr, but you'll have a nice little gift box coming in. Did you get it today or no?
No, it's the postal service sucks, man. Everything's been delayed, but I look forward to it.
It'll come soon. So I should send you some, Duncan. I'll send you some sticks that are some like real vintage stuff, and then you could taste it for yourself.
Well, don't send Duncan the vintage stuff and forget about me. You just met Duncan.
I'm going to send you
Shut up, Terry. Let the man talk, for God's sakes.
I'll tell you. There's a retailer in southern Pennsylvania, right on the border of Delaware, that has a couple stores, and he has some of my vintage stuff from like 30 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, and he sold some of the boxes of the body shops. I don't know if you know about those. They were like about $110 a stick because they were 30 years old. I don't know how much he was selling them for, but or maybe they were a little more than that. But whatever. Those tasted great.
Really?
They were awesome. Yeah, they still tasted.
What shop is that?
Little Havana or Taste of Havana or something like that. It's in the southern. It's like a high-end strip, strip mall in southern Pennsylvania.
Okay, like I know what you're talking about. That area, there's some nice.
Yeah, if you look through my some of the guys that bought boxes of those body shops, they post and sevens and some of my other vintage stuff that are like $100 a stick. Those were all they're in my Facebook. There's guys who are posting pictures with them within the last like few months or something.
Now, to your point, I have smoked some Padrones, not because of anything else, but that were 20 plus years old. I have smoked certain brands.
We've had the Opus X that was
original.
We found that's about 15, 20 years old. Yeah.
And in my opinion, they were just absolutely fantastic. And here's where I'm going with this, and not a negative necessarily, but I tend to believe that sometimes, I don't know if it's in the production side or something, someone lost a little attention. There was something that was just not quite right. And it's happened I've worked in multiple different retail environments. I've consulted for people, and I've come across, not always, but every now and then, that one particular smoke that I'm like, there's something that here, there's like there's a loss in translation. You
Is
know,
it the quality of tobacco? Is
yeah,
it the quality of tobacco? Because you mentioned Padron. I want to interrupt you, but you mentioned Padron. I know
yeah.
you and I have both
But
smoked a
they live
Fuente
by
that's
this.
15, 20 years old.
I mean, they live by.
Have you guys ever smoked the Abraham Lincoln cigars?
I
No.
no.
So Lincoln had, I can't remember who the hell he was. One of his cabinet members went down with a couple Navy ships. I think it was three, but I could be completely wrong, so don't quote me on it. It was either two or three ships, and he wanted a bunch of Cuban cigars brought back to the White House. And he took one ship, he loaded it up, and then sent it to Ireland to his family's house. And that stayed in his basement there. You know, he didn't go back. His kids didn't smoke cigars. So it literally stayed there for however long that was, over 100 years ago. And they started selling them maybe 15, 20 years ago, something like that. I'm terrible with time dates and that stuff, but something like that. You can look it up. It's pretty interesting. There's a bunch of YouTube videos of people smoking them and stuff like that.
No kidding. Well, I guess it goes back to the question: is it the quality of the tobacco, or is it the environment that is kept, or is it both?
A basement in Ireland. It was perfect addition. So
Cool and moist. I mean,
so-
it's.
I had girlfriends that bought them for me. I never bought one. I wasn't going to spend that much money. Oh yeah, here we go. Yes, I had one of the Abraham Lincoln cigars. Yeah, my dad, 15 years ago. How did you like it, Seven?
So is it both? Is it the quality and the way
I thought
it's
they were
kept?
pretty good. I
Yeah,
thought they were still pretty good.
because
I
you know it's.
thought
Go ahead. I'm
they
sorry.
were like between 20 and 25,000 bucks, depending on who you bought them from.
Wow. God.
So I wasn't going to spend that much money.
I got a guy, one of my
just-
older clients, Lars. You're gonna love this. When you remember when they redid the whole Caesar's Palace in Vegas, you know they tore down a whole thing about it. You know they redid it. Well, he went to an auction where apparently they had emptied out some of the vaults and whatnot, and there was like private boxes and everything. So it was this big auction. So he was there, and he unfortunately was sight unseen. He bid on a humidor.
Yeah.
Humidor
remember
there pulled it out, and there was. He said, "Well, he ended up paying like $30,000 some odd dollars for a sight unseen. It could have been empty, but when he opened it, it had damn cigars that were back from the 1920s and 30s and whenever the hell from Cuba. There was stuff that nobody had ever seen of it, but apparently because it was such a perfect tight seal environment in that lockbox or whatever, and then in the humidor." He said, "Duncan, I stretched those cigars out for years smoking them." And I was like, "Really?" He goes, "And they were in great shape, milder than what I liked. They were a little bit, on the lighter side of things." He goes, "But they were great cigars, good construction." So there are these, like you said, that's a beautiful story, the Abraham Lincoln. I think it's fantastic. And I'm going to just say like this. I think it could be what I've experienced based upon manufacturing with subpar tobacco that translated into like a bad product somewhere down the line. Maybe that's what I'm kind of looking at right now, because I smell some vintage shit that it's like, wow, this is amazing, this is awesome, holy Moses, this is like like glorious, and then I smoke stuff that supposedly quote unquote is like top of the line. I'm like, dude, this is garbage. I mean, this is like absolute like donkey ass garbage, and it's being sold like it's yeah. Anyways, it's just
Man, you're spiraling.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
It's funny because Duncan, you remember the Camachos that I found.
yeah. I mean, oh my God, they were beautiful.
The original diplomats. I mean, they were fantastic. They were well aged.
Delicious.
But then I've had other Camachos that I bought in stores that were old or aged. But the one thing I could tell is when you see the cellophane, right? If the cellophane has this nice, and this is again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not as experienced as you guys are, but when I seen a cellophane that is evenly discolored and it is very consistent versus a cellophane where it's discolored, but then there's pockets of really deep, dark coloration. It seems like the cigar was not kept in a proper environment, and it seems like you heat it up, you sweat out the oils, and then you cool it off, and those oils are picking up and depositing in pockets in the cellophane. Where when I found a cigar shop in Greenwood, South Carolina, went in and talked to the owner.
Almoral.
Um,
That was Lars. Remember 25 years ago, the first Balmorals when they landed in the U.S. The red box with the Balmoral golden cast on it. No one was buying that. Nobody even knew what the hell they were, and then they disappeared. This mofo found boxes of that stuff. I was like, holy!
That she's got the museum series from 2008. She had these and I'll tell you what, that is one of the finest cigars I think I've smoked in a long time. Is the Romeo and Julieta museum series from 2008 or 2009. It's kind of like what we talked about earlier. It's a throwback to that tobacco, that cigar, where they're not looking at the strength and overpowering you with the strength. It was just a well balanced, well flavored cigar that just, for me, when I smoked it, I would have said, okay, this is a mild cigar, maybe mild to medium, but the flavors were just jumping out. The flavors were just so aggressive because the tobacco was just this quality tobacco.
Well, the H. Upman's reserves from the 90s, fantastic Cameroon wrappers, glorious. And then there was that damn shortage, so some said that changed everything. And, you smoked an H. Upman today reserve. It's like, it's okay. It's all right. It's like, yeah, whatever, pass it on to Granny. But I'd smoke.
Pass it on to Granny.
Well, you know what I mean. Granny can handle it, bless her heart. But I think, Lars, you nailed it, man. There's some beautiful tobacco that has been out there that has been, I'm a lover of a well-crafted, well-aged cigar, and I'm a fan of that. I hate when people sell me the image of lux and expensiveness and all that. No, man, sell me a great cigar. I don't care what the price is, but if it's a great cigar, I'm gonna hug you. We're gonna be buddies. We're gonna be pals. I cannot understand this imagery BS that we're living in right now when it comes to cigars.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about next week about that. I mean, that's the next step.
I've tasted great cigars that were $1, and I've tasted great cigars that were, $100. But, I don't think that it's the price. I think it's just whether it's good quality or not.
Yeah, exactly. The Q word, baby, the Q word. I'm calling Lars baby now. Jesus Christ.
I love it, Duncan.
No, I tell you what, man. Look at
You're roping him in. You're roping him in, Lars. It doesn't take long, Duncan.
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, I don't know if it was the scarf or the pink or the hat, but I'm loving this guy.
So Lars, what's been your favorite tobacco to work with?
Okay, for wrapper leaf, maybe 40 years ago, it was from West Cameroon in Africa. That was amazing. And I still love the Indonesian stuff because a lot of them are too poor to go ahead and use the baking. So Indonesian wrapper leaf, if it's a real true Maduro, even though it's light, it'll be aged properly. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of people look down on the Indonesian wrapper, but actually it's really good.
Because they don't know.
I know.
I mean, it's like it's my. You know what? I love the subtropical region climates. Indonesia, Cameroon, Philippines. There's an innate sweetness almost within that tobacco that you don't find it on this side of the world. I don't think it's absolutely fantastic.
Well, in Venezuela, they were making some really good tobacco leaf. But
then Chavez came in, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
well, Lars, you said that. You know what is funny is that I've heard that before, that Indonesian tobacco is only good for binder.
Well, I don't think so.
I'm saying I think you bring a great perspective, because I think I've heard a lot of that just through all my travels. You hear, oh yeah, this tobacco, that tobacco, Indonesian, it's really good. It's just good for filler.
Hey, they talk
or binder.
They talk down all the time about the about Mexican wrapper back when I first started, and Mexican tobacco in
Shoot
general.
somebody.
And I loved the Mexican tobacco, and I loved the Mexican wrapper leaf. It was great. Had a nice sweetness to it. It was very slow aged. It was a true Maduro. It was some great leaf, man.
Lars, how
Yeah.
many
Really
times
great.
did you ever hear in your career, don't say San Andres, Mexico, just say San Andres? I've heard that a million times. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with that? Like, are you people crazy? That's a gorgeous region of tobacco. These guys,
Thank you.
they're selling tobacco to the freaking patrons. Mother effers. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's like,
Fuck those little bitches.
I mean, it's funny, man. I look at blenders who are quote unquote using the terminology blend masters, and but I go, dude, go suck a blender. How's that?
Thank you.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I meant it in a good Christian way. Not in
Well,
a
I was
bad
gonna say, yeah, Duncan, you're good. The time's good. So what's you with that as your the tobacco you like to work with as a wrapper? What about binder filler?
A rapper meaning rapper.
Well, no, you said you talked about.
I'm like, okay.
What's your favorite rapper?
You can tell by the way I spit, I'm a little harder. I'm so hard. Floss with Bob Wire.
Hey, hold on, but
Empire, one chance to step, but then you retire. Got the HK to catch your body on fire. 1, 2 hoses, fluid like a lighter. Dudes want to step, gonna catch flyers. Super wake up, find yourself in hellfire. Anyways, there.
No, Lars. Actually, we're gonna because we haven't diverted this conversation at all tonight. So I'm gonna do the first diversion. Before we get into the binder and filler that you like working with, Kevin Shahan did ask, "Are you gonna write a rap? Are you gonna write a song for the cigar industry? He needs Dippin' and Smashin' to be redone as Smokin' and Ashin'."
Oh, I love that,
Nice.
Kevin. That's a great idea. Smoking ash, yeah. First
Smoking
we gonna smoke, then we gonna ash. First we gonna smoke, then we gonna ash. First we gonna smoke, then we gonna ash. First we gonna smoke, and then we gonna ash.
See, Kevin,
I love
I got to it, Kevin. Kevin, you got to understand something. I'm very big on timing, so there's a part with it. So wrapper and filler, or binder and filler, and then Kevin, we can talk more about the music later, Kevin, because I think that's a great question.
Yeah, I love that. That was good, Kevin.
So he loves it. What with binder and filler? What tobaccos do you really gravitate to, or have you had great experience? You love working with it. And Kevin also asked, what tobacco haven't you worked with that you would like to?
You know, there really isn't too much stuff I haven't worked with already. I've worked with most tobacco. I mean, yeah, I like working with all different kinds of tobacco, and I like to travel around and find good stuff wherever it is. And sometimes there's a lot in small farms, so you got to go ahead and travel. You got to go check out what's out there and see what you're going to work with.
Definitely. What is when it comes to the fillers and you're doing your blending? What are some of your favorite tobaccos?
I really don't have a lot of. It really depends on your year. It's a lot like wine. If you're growing grapes, like a lot of these vineyards and a lot of wineries, they'll say, "Well, this is from this, valley or this climate or this country or whatever." But it's most of the time that's not even true. And the second part about it, from year to year, the grapes change.
Yeah.
So everything changes. Your mineral content changes in the soil. You don't know what the flavor's really going to be like, and you can't predict that. So you really have to find different places to get tobacco from.
Yeah. It's obviously the same with tobacco. We talked about that before.
Absolutely.
So Daryl wants to know what's the favorite of your own cigars and why? Top 3.
Well, in the production that we have out right now, it would. I'll give you a couple of different answers to that, but I'll tell you the production right now and then some of my older lines. So the production right now is I like the SS. Now this is weird because it's not like a traditionalist cigar. It's got a sweet and spicy tip, and it's got a ton of flavor. But once you get through the real heat that comes in the beginning, it comes into a very mild to medium cigar, and you appreciate it because it's just real spice in the beginning. But I also have like the SS, which is it's a great full body stick, and that's not doesn't have any sweet tip or anything on it, but it's a great cigar. And my Sun Fuka in our production of the fat cigars, that's a great cigar, and it's a perfect size. I think you guys would love it because it's like a smaller ring gauge, and it's really good. It's delicious. Um, so I would say probably the SS, uh, my the Sun Fuka, great stick,
Mm-hmm.
and
What about some of
maybe
your older stuff?
yeah, and then my older stuff would probably be like there's something called the good shit,
Holy
and that was like that was a thin cigar too. It was but it was really strong and really delicious. And then the Body Shop, which is a medium bodied cigar, it's about an 8-inch cigar, medium bodied, but really delicious stick. And then maybe a cigar that is sold in a certain places because it was pretty expensive, but it was called the Artist Series, and that was about 7 inches long and about 42 ring gauge, and it was one of my favorite cigars.
Nice.
Very full body, nice, perfect size for me, and that's what I used to smoke all the time. I used to just make it for myself, but so many people wanted the cigar after they tried it. It just ended up becoming okay. Sun Fuka, it's SUN and then FOOK and then KA.
You were close, Daryl. You were close. We'll give you an A for effort. So, Duncan,
yo,
I know you.
Hey Frank, thank you.
Smoking lots of. What are your top 3 cigars?
um, Jesus, every time you ask me this damn question, dude.
Boston Jimmy, what's up, buddy?
Hey brother,
What's up,
how are you
Boston?
doing, Boston Jimmy?
I go back to like not too long ago. You had asked me that, and I go, I love that True Maduro that you hooked me up with Paul Grammarian.
Yeah, that's a good
And
one.
I liked it when Laura said earlier a True Maduro also in your conversation. It's when you hear those two words correctly used. That's when you know you're gonna get a really well balanced, well aged cigar. So that's one of those that I go back to it. I love it all the time.
Very cool.
I'm a Fuente guy. For many years, I have for many positive reasons. I've supported family as well. So um, I'm a big fan of the Casa Fuente. Um, I liked it because it's strong enough that tells me where the old man was at the end. It was one of the blends that, because of his age and what he was going through, he created specifically so he could taste it, that he could enjoy it at that age. So I do like that, and it's a sentimental cigar for me because it clicks me with that person, and it puts me side by side with him. And then third, you know what? It's funny, and don't judge too harshly on this one. It's because my mom and my grandma had a tie-in. Um, I like some of the classic, old General Cigar Partagas stuff that they put out there. Particularly with Benji when he was hands-on with them. Benji Menendez, who was someone that really guided and steered that back in the days with General Cigars. So I like that style of smoking as a throwback, always with
Yeah.
my mom. But the first two really Fuente. I've been smoking Fuentes for 20 years. My one of the first throw up experiences was when Opus X came out, and I had no idea what the hell that was. And I did the classic question when I walked into a shop. And I go, "Hey man, what what's the best, most expensive cigar you got?" And they saw the word loser on my forehead. They were like, "Oh, that's one right there. That's one right there." They gave me a little tin of the Opus Robustos in the 3-pack. I dropped $100 then. And that night, I was like hurling chunks, man. But I've always been a big fan of them. Along with like folks like you, they have an understanding of what time is. They have an understanding of what tobacco is. They have an understanding of what consistency is, what quality is. So I do like anybody who can do that.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of meeting Rick Rodriguez, who worked and trained under Benji as well. And Rick Rodriguez is the blend master for CAO, and he does a couple of other things, obviously for General Cigars. But what an interesting character! But I love the way that he talked because it was exactly the people that I always sit with and talk about. He knows cigars. Like his hands, if you ever see Rick Rodriguez's hands, they're very small, they're very slender. It was like the hands of a pianist. And I can almost imagine this man just working with the blends, creating, it is just beautiful. So
there is one thing that women don't like is a small pianist.
Yes, no small pianos.
So Lars, Boston wants to know if you're going to play a lick or two.
It's up to you guys. You want to play?
I'm always up for that. And then one more before you go jamming. Kevin wanted to know his relation. How's like everything's going with Alec Bradley, and is there anything new on the horizon?
I'm not sure because of COVID. It's been difficult working that action. So we'll see what happens. But Alan's a great guy. Shout out to Alan. You should shout out a couple of my buddies there. Alan Rubin, he's awesome. I love him. And Sammy, can't forget Sammy Phillips. La Polina.
Nice.
And Matt. Nice. Gotta love Matt. Matty Booth.
Definitely.
I met
and
Matt
Carlos
Booth in 2009 at the, I think it was one of the very first IPCPRs they threw in Vegas or something like that. And really cool guy, man. I remember him because I was about to open up a shop for the first time. And I was walking around and all this stuff. And I see this crazy tatted up dude with rings up, like the jingy jingies. And I was like, man, this mofo is down as fuck. I love this. And he said, what are you looking for? And I go, I like unique stuff. I like full-bodied stuff. And, at the time, he had just come on board with Camacho. And I would say, you know what? I dig this guy, man. It was the same year that I met Sam Lacia. And I said, you guys are either what, like the bad boys of cigar making, the rock and rollers. I know that at the time, Pete Johnson had been out for a while already. So I was like, oh, I see where this is kind of going. But Boothy came to North Carolina. He did an event with us, man. I still got a couple of boxes signed for him. And he was the downest dude ever, man. I love these. He's nutty. He's nutty, but I love him.
Nutty is good. So, yes, I think, Lars, the consensus is yes, we'd love to hear a lick or two.
Okay. Well, give me 1 second. I'll grab my guitar stuff.
Duncan, when you have Lars on as a guest, you cannot not ask about him jamming.
Nah, man, I'm down with it. I like his music. Hell, he knows how to rap like a beast, man. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. It's interesting. We were talking more tobacco tonight, but we'll do another show and have Lars back on and talk a little bit more. I mean, it literally goes all over the place just because
I agree,
so much, man.
Matt is a really nice guy, man. And literally, he's a good-hearted individual also.
And that's tough to find. That's tough to find in any industry. I mean, anywhere. I hear the jamming. Should I start rapping, Duncan? Do you want me to rap?
Don't. I mean, I was gonna sing some Julio.
Listen, man, I wrote some great raps for Joseph for a couple years ago for a class about Band-Aids. My wife cut her finger on a razor blade.
Oh God.
I can't remember the rest of it, Jennifer. Jeez. I need the words. I gotta do my rap.
Carrie.
The Band-Aid rap. It's good.
Carrie, don't, please. No.
My wife cut her finger on a razor blade.
Oh,
and I can't remember the rest of it.
All right. I need a refresher. I need a refresher. Thank you. Look, even Jimmy's like, oh, for God's sakes, no.
Oh no.
The Reverend say no, no, don't, Tim.
Oh, and you, Reverend, you need to say a prayer for Duncan tonight. He's been cussing up a storm.
No, I haven't. I can count. I can
Joe
count.
got an A on it. So Joe got an A on it. So there you go, Duncan.
There you go. All right. Joe got an A on it.
I gotta think of a name so it's
Okay.
gonna fade. Oop, there it is. It's a Band-Aid.
Oh my God.
What happened?
I was telling Duncan I helped my son write a rap for class a couple of years ago about Band-Aids.
Oh, geez.
and I was starting to sing it, and then I got everybody booing me.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Can you even hear this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on. Maybe I should tune up. That might help.
Daryl's saying louder.
Okay, I'm gonna put it a little louder.
Daryl, what's wrong with my rapping, man? I think my rapping's pretty good. Listen, art is in the ear of the beholder.
Yeah. It's in something. All right. It's in something. Stick
Duncan,
to
if
your
you,
strength. Stick to your strength, man.
I don't have any strengths. That's why I get my guitar. We can play duets. Daryl hates that. I had Daryl one time I was playing my guitar. He's just like, "Stop playing that damn guitar."
Okay, should I put it a little louder?
A little bit. A little
Okay,
bit.
hang on
You
one second.
sound good, though.
Just give me 1 second.
Take your time. While we wait for Lars, I will start on my sunglasses song. I wrote a song for Joseph.
Almighty, God help us all.
It was about. It was. It was Grant Foster
God
sunglasses.
help us all.
If it is sunny and you're walking down the boardwalk and the sun is in your eyes and your girl is surprised.
Hurry up, Lars.
How's that? Is that a little better?
There you go. Well, I stand up next to a mountain and I chop it down with the edge of my hand.
Man, we need to listen to a damn music. Thank you, brother. God damn.
Fantastic. I thought we were gonna go to some Voodoo Child there, Lars.
Do you want me to do an actual song?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, I'm sorry. You guys can talk while I just set up for a
No, that's all right. I was all ready to do some Hendrix.
Me too. The gin.
Yes, Boston Jimmy. I think when Lars jams next, I will mute Duncan and I'll definitely I'll definitely mute myself. I'll definitely mute me because we don't want me going crazy and thinking that there's any way possible that I could do any type of. Well, we don't want that. That'd be funny. A little bit of Voodoo Child. Come on, Duncan. You used to like my singing back in the day.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, man.
No?
I was side by side with you. You know, what was I gonna say? You know,
Are you saying that fear stopped you from criticizing my singing?
I wanted to make it home that, you know, after the show and stuff. Like Jesus. I guess I gotta tell this guy he's a great singer or something. Or other.
Listen, but while we wait for Lars, I'm going to pop on a quick promo about a new podcast that's coming out.
Nice.
So we're going to hit this promo, and then we're going to come back to Lars. So please stick with us. Don't leave. Lars is going to come back and do a song for us. But watch this, listen to this promo coming out in mid-February.
We talk. You listen. We are the Broadleaf Bullies. And here's your hosts, Kev, Care, Jesse, and Jazz.
I like that, man. I like that. Broadleaf.
That is right. There's going to be a new podcast. It's going to be the Broadleaf Bullies. It's going to be Kevin from Cigar Prop, Jesse, and Jen's going to make her debut appearance.
Wow. Jesus, man. That's like next level stuff right there.
Can you hear the music a little bit?
We can, yeah. I think we're going to go ahead, Lars.
I got to turn this up a little bit. What you gonna do?
Duncan sitting in his
Nice.
room.
There we go. First we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. First we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. First we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. Yeah, first we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. Yeah. Okay, I think I got it. Hang on.
First we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. First we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. Yeah, first we're gonna dip. I was filling in for you, Lars. Go ahead.
Yeah. Dip, then we're gonna smash. First we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. First we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. Yeah, first we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. Yeah, hiding, smoking like it's bopping on the top. Put your legs on my shoulders, then you're gonna pop. I keep you coming till you never wanna stop. Then you try to pick up and let the beat drop. Yeah, first we're gonna dip, then we gonna smash. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash, yeah. Cause we gonna dip, and then we gonna smash it. Into the living room, I take you to the couch, bend you over the back and turn that pussy out. Feel like you never wanna leave, then you wipe your man, then wipe your man with my sleeve. We gonna dip, then we gonna smash. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash, yeah. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash it. 3 days out and you never left the house. If you come till I turn that pussy out, feel like you never wanna leave, then just throw my butt in the phone. Wipe your mouth with my sleeve. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash, yeah. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash, yeah. Into the living room, I take you to the couch, bend you over the back and turn that pussy out. Your legs start to shake while I hit that haze. Then you roll off the couch and lay there in a daze. Yeah, cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash, yeah. Cause we gonna dip, and then we gonna smash, yeah. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash, yeah. Cause we gonna dip, then we gonna smash, yeah. Cause we gonna dip, and then we gonna smash, yeah.
That was fantastic, bro.
Nice. Daryl just wanted me to jump in and start singing. I said, hell no, man. My singing voice doesn't even work in the shower.
Nope. Yeah, you see, that's how it's really done. Having me on here with my acoustic guitar, driving Daryl crazy, goofing around, never goes well. It never translates well. Laura's got some chops, bro.
Nice.
Sounds like you guys were doing Ice Ice Baby.
All right, there we go. We'll dip and smash.
Fantastic.
Okay, here we are.
Kevin Shahan wants to know if you're available to do the intro music for our new podcast.
Sure.
There you go, Kevin. You heard it. You heard it live. No more guitar or garage band music. It's gonna be straight up Lars jamming.
Yeah, 100%. I can make up some music.
Fantastic, man. That was fantastic. Thanks for doing that for us, man.
No
You
problem.
know, one of the things that I've always appreciated about you, not only with your experience and your longevity in the cigar industry, and really my memories of smoking your cigar back in the '90s, is that you Duncan, and you could attest to this when we talk about everything about the cigar industry, the music, the art, everything. And I know that you are so heavily involved in all these different aspects. The food, Duncan,
Yeah.
his spices are freaking off the hook. Just everything that you're involved in really
And also-
is just it's impressive, man.
Nice.
My new D8 gummies,
The gummies.
Gummies, get out. Wow.
Delta 8,
Nice.
100% legal, and I have all 50 states.
Exactly, and that's why I completely am always impressed with not only your ability within the cigar industry, but outside the cigar industry, and all the areas that I feel really do touch on that industry. The food, Jennifer, my fiance, when we got your package before it and we got the spices, your spices go on everything.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
sent you a bunch more spices.
Oh
too.
man. Okay, she even said the best seasoned salt I've ever had. I will say
Thank you
this:
so much.
the best
Oh,
seasoned salt
Thank you, Jennifer.
ever. If we're having freaking tacos, eggs, it doesn't matter. That's always on the table, going and stuff.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
I've seen the leather work that you do, the music, the artwork. One of the things that really caught my attention in that humidor was that day was your box, and I knew you do all the artwork as well. So,
Yeah,
God, it's amazing. It's pretty cool.
thank you.
So, as we end the evening, first of all, I want to thank you for hopping on, Lars, and spending some time with us.
No problem. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
As always, man, it's always a blast with you.
Real nice, man. Honestly, I'm honored.
It's an honor being here with you guys.
It's always a blast when you're on. It's good talking. I love our conversations, outside when when I buzz you.
Absolutely.
And I love the fact that you took time out of your busy schedule to spend with us, and talk about your experience with tobacco, because as we build these series up, it's not construction tobacco, and then next week we get more into the artwork and kind of like what Duncan said earlier. Some people can really put up a nice display and good artwork and really not take the time to focus on the construction and tobacco that's utilized with that cigar. So, and I always want to thank my main man, Duncan Ramon Echevarria, for taking time out of your busy schedule and your day to hang out and
Duncan, it was
do the
great
show.
meeting you.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm super duper happy that I'm on this show with you, and I'm gonna just say it like this, man, dude. Honestly, truly awesome to talk to a guy who gets it, understands it, lives it, does it for all the right reasons, man. And to me, that's where my blessing is. That when I got here today, man, I'm like, wow, this is what I do. I mean, I love cigars. I love people in the industry that are doing the way you are. I've heard about you. I've known of your cigars in my life. I'll be brutally honest. I've never had the opportunity to smoke one of them. But you told me everything about your cigars, and I love it. Real quick, Kerry, and I'm sorry, but I had somebody question me one time.
Please
Says,
do.
Hey, when you smoke a cigar, how do you approach it? And I go, well, I want the cigar to tell me everything about the person who made it, and that's what I look for in a cigar. But having listened to you today, I can only imagine, man, just who you are right now, how that has translated, and that will translate to the opportunity to smoke one of yours. I'll be like, man, this is on point. This is that synergy of cigar to man to cigar right there. So thank you very much, man, for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And trust me, Duncan, when you smoke one of his cigars, it definitely you take that journey, and it definitely the connection is there. So thanks for hopping on again as always, Duncan. You know, we've been doing this a long time, and it's always fun.
Yeah, I
Next-
love coming on your show. It's just awesome. I like it because there's not really, we have like a direction, but we go into all sorts of different things. This is great.
I've been working with Duncan for 5 years. We always go off in different directions, but we always get back to the topic, and that's what's really cool about it, because you know what? When you have interesting people, you have knowledgeable people like you and like Duncan, you know, the conversation is going to go in different directions, because if it doesn't, all we're going to do is sit here and have a boring ass show. It's just going to be talking about the tobacco. What happens is, and that's not what we want. I mean, the next time we do a show, it's literally we're going to do another show together. It's going to be a show about nothing. We're just gonna whatever topic we want to talk about.
I'm down for that.
That's my gig. Don't be. That's my gig. You know, I do mine with my boys, and we don't even have a day. We don't even use cue cards or nothing.
We'll do a show about something, and that something will be nothing. How's that? I'll redirect it. But no, but I love it, man, and that's why, you know, I kid Duncan, but I kid him because I love him. We've been doing a show for a long time, and we always have this. Okay, we're gonna talk about this, and we go off in different directions. And you know what? When you have knowledgeable, talented, very creative people, you're gonna go in those different directions. You have to, because if you don't, you're gonna have a boring show, and you're not gonna have a show that really, as you go off of these different areas, whether it's music, art, spices, it's everything's connected. It really is. And that's the one thing I love about this show, and I loved having you on again, Lars. Man, I mean, you're a fantastic dude. And
you guys are fantastic. Thank you guys for letting me.
Oh man,
enjoy.
I appreciate it. So, is there anything you want to leave the listeners with, Lars, tonight, with not only the topic we're talking about, but anything else?
Well, if people want to go ahead and feel relaxed and catch that little bit of a buzz, I know a lot of people like drinking, and I don't mind every once in a while a little tequila or something, but you know, I only drink maybe once or twice or maybe 3 times in a whole year. I don't really drink much, but I think that Delta 8.
There you go.
These things are great. Take one of these and then smoke a cigar. You'll be fine.
They'll be really chill. Where can they get Delta 8?
There's going to be a bunch of stores that are carrying it. In fact, there's a chain of cigar places that are going to be carrying it. As soon as they come in, I'll post it up on your thing. And they have a huge cigar line at their stores, and they're carrying my spices and CBD. I'll give you the name of the place once they get it all in.
Nice.
Yeah, please do. Fantastic. Yep. Send it over to me.
And also, I think you could go to, I think Sugar Lux has it. It's a store, let's see, SUGALUX.com.
Yeah.
Yep, they have the Delta 8 there.
Okay, they do? Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Duncan. You're on, man. Final thoughts.
Hold that thought.
He's got to go check his meatloaf.
Oh, I love that. I love it.
Final thought of the night.
That's great, man.
Things that you can do with the burn tip of your match. Things that you can do.
Oh, my God. I love that.
I literally was doodling early today, and I go, Jesus, you know, I said, hey, look what I did. Isn't that just cool?
I love it.
I said, you know what? There you go. So if you got a little artistic side, express it and everything.
Amen.
Cigars bring everything out of me, man. Even a burnt matchstick, and now you're doodling. So I love it.
Awesome.
Follow your passion. That's what it is. Follow your passion, guys. Whatever it is, follow it, man. It's all about that. God bless everybody.
That's great, man. Apparently, you're not done yet because you got to put sunglasses and a hat on that to make it the Viajante picture.
I didn't even know where I was going. I said, maybe it's me, but I said no. It's a lot better looking than me. So
It's a lot better looking.
Got more hair.
I was gonna say, man, the hairline's all wrong. It can't be you, Duncan.
Got way more hair.
Well, listen, man, I want to thank you both for being on. God, this is such a great time. From Duncan Ramon Echevarria, Doña Noli Cigars. Lars, again, thank you very much for being on, man. It's always a pleasure.
I love you, brother.
This is Viajante. Next week, we're going to talk about the next step in this Stogie Road Diary series, which is the artwork, the cigar bands. How important are cigar bands? Is the artwork deceiving? We're going to talk more about that. I want to thank everybody for hopping on tonight. Everybody, have a fantastic day. Tomorrow is Jennifer's birthday. Happy birthday, Jennifer.
Happy birthday, Jennifer.
We're going away for the weekend.
Oh, nice.
And we're gonna do a little bit of a visit to Tennessee. Tennessee.
No singing.
Tennessee. I can sing if I want, Duncan. I got the microphone.
No, it's yours.
Oh man, listen, everybody have a great night, and we'll see you next week.